Oh, yeah. Yep. Well, good.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
We're going to go ahead and get started. Dave isn't set up yet, so we'll do some of the announcements. He's going to poke his head in when it's ready, and we'll break and get food. Okay? Okay, here we go. Team 7. Who is going to do? Wait, is that you, Don?
Yep. Please pray with me. Father God, we thank you for bringing us together today. We thank you for the blessing of Rotary Club. We thank you for blessing us so that we can be a blessing to others in the community and the world. Let us keep us ever mindful that it's through you and through prayer that we are able to accomplish these things. Don't let us give in to the outside influences of the world as it is today, but please be with us. Take care of those who have health problems and be with them. And thank you very much, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
And then, of course, we want to keep some members in our thoughts and prayers. Mark, Dr. Booth, Bart, or Pat's husband, Bob, and then Marcus's wife had hip replacement surgery today. So
No, keep them in your prayers.
Yeah.
We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the four-way test. First,
Is it true?
second, is it
Fair to all concerned.
Third, will it
Will
build
goodwill and better friendships.
And fourth,
Will be beneficial to all concerned.
thank you.
And then, Don, do you have any team updates?
Not really.
Not really.
We, I do want to apologize to Larry, who stepped up at a moment's notice last week when I called him, and we were supposed to have Christian Dallas here, who's a mural painter, and really does some fantastic work, and he really wants to come, but today it was the initial day of a project that he's doing in Lawrenceburg, so he couldn't get away from that. So he apologized, but thankfully we have Larry who stepped up, and we're just kind of rearranging dates. Larry was going to come next month, so now Christian will come next month. So thank you, Larry. You're welcome.
Don, do me a favor and close that door.
Yeah.
I have not.
Hey, Sean.
Right there.
Awesome.
I was going to say, you brought this picture up.
I know, he started walking away.
Sorry, we have guests. We have Susan Anir. Susan, can you rise and tell us what you do? All righty.
Hi, my name is Susan Anir, and I am a director at Common Spirit Health in the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging team. We are a nonprofit healthcare organization spanning 22 states.
Welcome.
And actually, Susan is already a member.
Congratulations, Susan. You brought a jacket. That's awesome. Way to go.
Welcome aboard.
We love that. And Noreen is back visiting with us. Welcome, Noreen. Thanks for being here. The Florence Rotary outing is coming up October 6th. If you haven't gotten with me about a whole sponsor or a team, I really, really need you to get that to me soon. We've had a number of people that are obviously the ones sitting here have already helped me out. So if there's other groups that you can get, that would be great. I understand it's the schools are off that Friday, so I'm hoping to get some. That used to be a bigger thing for the schools, but it's been crickets so far from the schools. So a little disappointing, but I'll be making sure that they know we're out here still.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yep, they get off the 6th and the Monday,
Yes.
right?
Yes, Friday. Yep.
Okay, that's good. Our Red Legs came out of wild card. They got a good team that are playing hard. A bunch of young guys that want to play baseball the way we were all taught. It's kind of fun to watch. I was talking with some old people yesterday. I went to Grandparents' Day this morning, so maybe the old people, maybe that old people thing's happening. I don't know. But the they were just excited about how the Reds were playing baseball the way that people used to play baseball. So it was good instead of striking out and waiting for somebody to hit a 5-run homer, which doesn't happen. That was all good. And then the bingo season will start next week. We saw a really good. I was lying to you last week. It was good. We saw improvement. We're almost there. So we'll see then. That's all I got.
Okay.
Thomas Moore won with 2 minutes to go Saturday.
All right.
It's on my team.
Oh, you should have seen how many Miami Redhawk shirts were at the Bengals game yesterday.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dennis, not gonna bring it up.
Okay, so Dave is ready. One last thing. Hey, Sean, did
Yes.
you know you're a neighbor of Susan? You're both on Blackstone.
I was gonna ask.
Oh, okay.
Sean,
Yeah,
he's at the end of the
absolutely.
cul-de-sac.
Your cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, Dave says food is ready, so we'll take a break.
That's right. That big party's down the street.
So let's go ahead and get our food, and then we'll come back to announcements. Like, you two are on the same street.
We were sitting at the table talking.
Just a reminder, we have a board meeting today after this meeting. Stick around, you're on board. We still need a treasurer and then a communications marketing coordinator, somebody to help get the announcements out, those kind of things. I've sent the position off to a couple of the colleges. Hopefully maybe get some college students who maybe need some experience to build their portfolio. So if you know of anybody, feel free to forward that out. There is one last date if you want to be a one-to-one reading coach. There is training. They had to add a date because all the other dates filled up. Woohoo, which is awesome news. So the schools are very excited. There's 4 schools in Boone County that have coaches this year. Stevens, see if I remember, Burlington, Collins, and I think North Point are the 4 schools that had signed up for it this year. So.
Walton Verona has added.
Oh, Walton Verona added. Okay,
Yes.
awesome. So, and I have a feeling that if there is a demand, like if you can meet any of the training dates and you still want to be a coach, just reach out to Polly because I'm sure they're keeping a list and they'll offer they'll take any coaches. So I'm sure they'll set up another date. Okay, Rotarians out and about. Barb has some kind of cool news to share too from her trip.
I was recently in South Africa, and there was actually in our group of 6, 3 of us were Rotarians. Myself, my sister, who is from South Carolina, she lives in Greenwood, South Carolina, and she's also on, I think it's the Southeastern Region Foundation Board. So she knows everybody in Rotary, internationally and whatever. So, and then another lady, Rita, she is from another South Carolina, in Newberry, South Carolina club. But my sister arranged for us to meet with this group of Rotarians. They're from the Rotary Club of Florence and Hartsby Sports. And they gave us this flag. They gave each one of us a flag. So that'll go to our club. So I'll do that to you.
Is the banner at your place?
Yes, I have the banners.
Okay. And so they took us around to 3 of their projects of things that they're doing, which was just amazing. And one of them was a school that was started for kids with disabilities. Because in South Africa, there's like the kids, if you have a disability, you just don't go to school. And so they help with that school. And we got to tour that school and meet some of the kids. And they were just so excited that we came to see them. And then we went to a farm that is for kids that have been taken away from their families by the courts because the parents have abused them or their parents are drug addicts or whatever. And they have really no place to send these kids. They take them away from their parents, but if they don't go to another family member, there's no place for them to go. So this couple gave up their regular jobs and they started this farm for these kids. And it's a residential farm and they stay there all the time and then they go to school during the day, but they sleep there at night. And it's very regimented. The husband was in the military and so he runs it like the military. But he said that's what these kids needed. So it was really neat. And then their third project they took us to was to save the vultures, which I didn't know a lot about vultures until I went to this. But vultures are like the garbage men of the wilderness and the wild. And without the vultures actually are immune to anthrax, which I didn't know animals had anthrax, rabies, different diseases. And if they don't clean up the animals that have died, then other animals will get those diseases, as well as humans can get those diseases from them. So the vultures need to be saved because the poachers are trying to kill the vultures because the vultures let the game wardens and stuff know where the poachers are. So they fly over top of where the poachers are and say, oh, they're right here. And so the poachers are trying to kill the vultures. And so anyway, it's kind of a vicious cycle. So they showed us what they're doing, the Rotary Club is doing there. And a lot of the Rotary clubs in South Africa are supporting the vulture, Save the Vulture program. Then we went to Johannesburg, and we met with 2 other Rotarians there, and they're working on a global grant to provide lap desks to all the children, 22 million children in South Africa, because their schools don't have desks. So this is a lap desk. Did you put a picture?
I didn't put a picture.
Oh, okay.
As you were talking, I'm like, oh, I should put a picture.
Okay, so anyway, they have this lap desk, and it's really hard plastic that can't be broken. And then laminated on it are like this times table, number thing where if you add this number and this number, you get total. It has a map of Africa. It has 4-way text on it. It's got the alphabet and phonetical words that are around that, and a bunch of different things. But they cost $13 a piece, and they're doing one school at a time because they have to give one to every single student in the school. You can't say, I'm sorry, you can't have one, So it's they need 22 million of them, and they're $13 a piece. So it's a global grant, and they've already had many districts to put in money for it, and so they're well on their way to getting the funds they need to fund it. But they actually came to talk to my sister because she is with the foundation, so she holds the purse strings there, and they were trying to sell it to her, which she brought one home with her. But anyway, it was a wonderful trip. The Rotarians that we met couldn't have been nicer, and we're just so proud to show us their little part of the world and find out more things about our part of the world and things that we're doing here and stuff. So,
Great, cool.
Anyway, it was really awesome.
Her and Peter were at Collins Elementary last week for the resource fair. So they shared information about the Rotary and the reading coaches, trying to recruit reading coaches. They had a really big turnout over there at Collins, so that was nice. And then you also have the Blue Star Memorial Highway, which I saw lots of Rotarians in the pictures for that. I saw Josh Quinn was playing bagpipes, Joe Tamar was there. So it's just great to see everybody out and about. And then I had a couple of events last week that I went to, and they're actually a couple of my $8. So on Wednesday, I was down in Frankfurt for the announcement of the Kentucky Teacher of the Year, and the overall winner was a Boone County school teacher.
Yeah.
Wow. Kevin Daly from Valley Shannon Middle School. So that was pretty cool to be there for that. And then on Thursday, I attended a very special event. So last year, our Citizen of the Year was Jen and Steve Kohler. Do you guys remember them last year? Well, they had a young man, the Republic of Congo, that they had been kind of helping out. Well, Marcos actually became a citizen on Thursday. He invited me down for his naturalization ceremony, which was really special. So that was pretty cool. So that was one of my act out. And actually, Paul McPeak, who is like 2 years ago Citizen of the Year, was down there with me because she had also helped Marcos.
Julie, if anyone is traveling and will be meeting with other Rotary groups, contact me because I have the Florence Rotary banner that you can take with you to give to the other Rotarians.
I actually keep a couple of them in my carry-on luggage because I end up picking up 12 of them out and about. So it was a busy week. Don't forget to log your volunteer hours in DAC because all those hours end up giving us credit and rolling up to the national, and we calculate the value on what we're doing, not just donations, but our save the dates. Sean already talked about golf outing. Kent County has their golf ball drop for polio. And then December 4th is the Christmas concert. And then we also have an event tied to our one-to-one. Philanthropic Plains. I actually went this last Wednesday down at Met Club. I was there for about an hour. It was very nice. I met Chuck and Doug from the Covington, or the Cincinnati Club. Doug is president of the Cincinnati Club. He works at the Metropolitan Club. And then Gil and Brenda Barber and Florence and Sandy were there. So it was just nice, intimate, sitting around talking, just sharing ideas of struggles of what our clubs are going through and just trying to share things. The Rotary Club of Cincinnati is doing something called Due Days. It's October 26th through 28th, and they're partnering with like at least 40 nonprofit organizations. And if you have an organization that wants to be on the list, you just reach out to them. But they're trying to get Rotarians to go out and serve for across those 3 days, on those 2 days. And there's flyers on your tables for that. So if you get a chance, just drop down there. It's 4:30 to 7:30, the second Wednesday of the month. And it's just real casual, or to 7. World Polio Day. If anybody has any ideas, get that to T5. By either raising funds or just creating awareness. And happy dollars. Great.
First of all, I apologize for having to cancel the picnic, but Lauren had COVID, and she had it for over 2 weeks. She just tested positive or negative this last Friday. She was really sick. She told me that she'd only felt worse when they took part of her colon out. So I think that was way up there. Now, the good news is I never got sick. So I'm not sure what that says about my marriage. But we're back on the road to health, and maybe we'll be able to have something out there again before too much long. Thank you.
Yes. I've just finished up what I call the Magical Musical Mystery Tour. So that was 3 weddings. My Aunt Carlene just celebrated her 90th birthday. A good friend of my daughter's just got consecrated, so she is going to be a nun within the Catholic Church, which is that was a great ceremony. And in the meantime, I celebrated my 35th wedding anniversary. And as Jeff Foxworthy, the comedian, says, that's a long time to be picking up somebody's drawers. It's cheaper to keep her.
Anybody else have happy dollars? I had one more happy dollar I'm going to add. So my son found out he got accepted to the UK Martin School of Public Policy. And he's gotten accepted in the University of Louisville, so he's now applying for the McConnell Center. So he's on his way. Oh, and he's had 2 PRs in cross country the last 2 weeks. Okay. I am going to now turn it over to Don to introduce. Oh, don't, wait, to introduce our speaker.
You're welcome.
My fellow Rotarians and our special guest, I guess you're no longer a special guest anymore. Well, congratulations. The first time I met Larry, he came up to me and he says, I know your wife. And her hands have been all through my head and I've enjoyed it. And I'm like, well, that's a strange introduction. And I'm like, oh, she does your glasses, right?
Yeah.
So the first time I met Larry was in 2015. We both got elected together and we did our training together through Kentucky League of Cities. I first moved to Florence in '96 at Farmview, and that was the first development out towards 42. And the way to get to Union, you had to go through the old snake around through the creek, as they would say. And there was the old hotel up there, that 10-room hotel, and it has changed absolutely unbelievably. Larry has received his Master's of Business Administration and his Master's in Public Administration from OSU. We won't hold that against you. A Buckeye. He was the Marketing and Marketing Research Director at Ashland Oil, Procter Gamble, and Kimberly Clark. Please help me welcome Mayor Larry Solomon.
Thank you.
Thank
you. And besides that, his wife does my glasses. Judge Moore's wife used to be the dental assistant for where I went. And the first time I met the judge was that I said, your wife is the only person I let put her fingers in my mouth. And that's a true story. That's a true story. Anyway, yeah, my name is Larry Solomon. I'm the mayor of Union, Kentucky. I've been the mayor since January 1st, 2015. At that time, I was talked into running for mayor by one of our commissioners. His name was Brian Miller, and I won. And I got 52% of the vote. And the second term, I was opposed. This last term, I was opposed by one of my commissioners. He wanted to be mayor. I didn't want him to be mayor. So, so what I did was I decided to do a campaign that was tantamount to a Boone County campaign, and do the same thing but apply it to Union. And that's what I did. I raised funds, put a lot of signs up, and a lot of people seen a lot of my signs around, like 50 of them in Union. So, so I had a lot of those out there, and I was fortunate to win. I got 72% of the vote. So I was the third highest in Boone County. So that was, there's only Jay Williams and there's somebody else got a higher votes than I did. So there you go. That's me. So I think you push this. Is this how you do this, or just the? There you go. I got it. I'm slow on the uptake, so sorry about that. We're a commission form of government. Florence is a mayor council form of government, so is Walton. And so the difference between our government and those two cities is the fact that each one of us has an equal vote. Okay, so in Walton and in Florence, the mayor has run over the administration. I lead the team, but we all have equal votes. And these are our commissioners. John Medford's been there since God knows when. So he's my mayor pro tem. Jeremy Ramage is my fiscal commissioner. Brian Gardner is my public works commissioner. And Doug Vine, he's the newest commissioner. He replaced the commissioner that ran against me. So, and he's great. He is, I put him as the economic development commissioner, and we work together on a lot of our projects. And over the years, we've really also had a great staff. As a matter of fact, one of my former city administrators is sitting right there, Matt Dowling. I am privileged and honored that I have two of my city administrators working for Boone County. David Martin, he's the clerk of courts, is that right? And now Matthew is the assistant county administrator. So therefore, I think I did something right. I don't know what, but I did it right. So, and they still like me. I don't know why, but they do. And this is our current staff. After Matt left, our city administrator was David Plummer. I don't know if you all know David Plummer. David is now the city administrator for Alexandria. So he moved on. So I keep training them and they leave. You know? I don't know. So, but I think Amy's going to stick around for a while. We hired her as the assistant city administrator because we didn't want to go through another interviewing process. So when David left, then we just moved her up to city administrator. She was our communications coordinator before that. Christy Everman is our treasurer, and Paul Kramer is our new public works director. And he is a full colonel in the Army. And he's doing this because he's retired and he wants less pressure. So we fooled him. We give him more pressure now. So, but Paul is amazing. He's a great guy, and staff loves him, and he's doing a great job. And Tammy Wilhoit is our city clerk, and Jamie Lyons. I don't know if some of you know Jamie. She's popular with a lot of business activities throughout the community. She is now our communications coordinator. So that's who we are. And we are I'll jump ahead a second. We are the second largest city in Boone County, right? So I told that story we're at a judge and three mayors meeting, okay? And the former mayor of Florence, Ms. Wayland, was sitting there. And I said, you know, Mayor, we are the second largest city in Boone County. She looks at me kind of strange and she goes, because there's only 3 cities in Boone County. If you think Hebron and Burlington are cities, you're wrong. It's Florence, Union, and Walton. Florence has a population of 35,000. We have a population of about 8,000 now, okay? And Walton has a population of about 35 to 4,000 people. We're the second largest city in Boone County, right? So I said that to her. And she goes, Mayor, are you kidding me? I go, we are that. And she goes, yeah, I guess you are. And the reason we say that is because it's an attitude. We want the citizens of Union to have an attitude that we are the second largest city in Boone County, and we are something. We are a larger city. We're not a bedroom community that we used to be. When I first took office 8 years ago, everybody thought we were a bedroom community, and we were. And one of my commissioners at that time said, Mayor, he said, you know, we're just the glorified HOA. I said, I used to be president of an HOA. We're not an HOA. We are the second largest city in Boone County, and we have to think of ourselves as a larger city. And we have to start making decisions based upon that. And so that's what we started to doing, and that's our strategy. Now, Union, if you go back to 1838 when they started, when they had those windy trails, and Florence used to, they used to get in their covered wagons and go to get salt at Big Bone Lick. They would stay in Union for the night and then go get it and come back and go back to Florence. That's how Union was located back, or that's what Union was an isolated little city back in those days. Then it faded away, and then in '69, they decided to rezone or become a city again as Union. And there was 233 people in 1970 over 1 square mile, and that was Union. And people, you always tell me, and anytime people tell me about the history of Union, I just eat it up. Because listening to Judge Ferguson, right, and tell his stories about Union and that Mount Zion Road, that kids used to play on Mount Zion Road, and there would be no cars coming down it, so they never had to worry about it. You go on Mount Zion Road right now, it's 55 miles an hour, and they're flying down that road. So we've grown quite a bit since then. When I took office, the population was about 3,000. We're about 7,800 in 2020. We're over 8,000 people now, and we anticipate to be about 10,000 people in the next few years. So we are the second largest city in Boone County, and we're very proud of that. And we're the fastest growing city in Boone County. So we and people really want to come here. And what our strategy is we know our demographics. Our demographics are professionals that make between $100,000 and $250,000 from age 22 to 55 who have kids. And we know that through Claritas data, which measures lifestyles. And our second population are retired professionals who have grandkids. So it's the same thing, but a little bit older. There are people that retired and moved to Union to live. And I am one of them, okay? So I did that back in 2014 and, I did 2007 and been here ever since. And so in addition to that, and what our strategy is to focus on that demographic and that demographic alone and provide goods and services to meet the needs of that demographic. So the logic is that if you provide goods and services targeted to those individuals, more of those individuals will come to Union. That keeps us uniquely union. And that's what we want to be. And that distinguishes us from Florence or Walton, is that that's who we want to be. And I think it's been pretty successful because we are continuing to grow and more people want to live in the union. And we're very, very proud of that. In addition to that, I forgot to mention that if you look at some surveys, they say that we're the 8th wealthiest city in the state of Kentucky. Some say that we're the wealthiest. Yeah, I don't know. But I do know that our residents do pretty well, if you will. So our strategy for growth is to continue to grow. And we have two choices. We can manage growth or it can manage us. Our choice is to manage growth. And for the past 8.5 years or so, we've been managing that growth. Now, here are some of the projects that we're working on, okay? I'm sure that if you drive down 42, you see these 2 new pillars going up, right? And that's part of the Promenade Center. And how many of you, how many of you have seen the Promenade Center? I'm sure you have. And it's starting to take shape. The UDF store is coming along, and they're having 2 new buildings coming in, and there's a company called Goodwood that's going to be a restaurant there, and there are going to be several other of them. One of the things that we have to work with them on is because there is a demand for high-end restaurants and that to go in there. We're working with the developer to make sure that he stays on target. He has come up with some ideas to go off target. We're working with him to stay on target. We want this to be an entertainment district. We want this to be a place where people can go and enjoy themselves. And that's what we're trying to do. In addition to the retail part of it, they have about a whole bunch of apartments that are going behind it that are high-end apartments. And they're also having condos, not condos, but fourplexes that are their townhomes. So there are 3 farms that made up the Promenade Center, and they went together and sold it to the developer, and it's coming along. It's coming along. The next project that we have going, you haven't seen anything on it yet, but we just approved the Brilliance Avenue extension. How many people are familiar with Harmony that lives in Union, right? If you live in Harmony and you want to go on Mount Zion Road, you have to go out to 42, turn down 42 to get to Mount Zion Road and turn left and head out to the freeway. We're building an extension between the roundabout and Harmony to connect those two. That cost of that original project was $500,000 a year and a half ago or 2 years ago. By the time that we got to it and prices changed, we just got it bid for $985,000. One of the guys bid on it from Ohio, $1.5 million. It's because they got to go through this down part, and the people that live there don't want to go and infringe on their yards, so that added the cost up. But as part of the approval for the Grandma Center was tied to us approving the extension of Brilliance Avenue. So after long, serious discussion that we had, it took about a year to get this thing approved through our commission. Some wanted it, some didn't want it, some didn't like the prices that went up. We went through a whole bunch of stuff on that stuff. I won't bore you with that, but we finally got it approved. We're using federal dollars for our share of it, and the developer, Gramis, is going to kick in the rest of the money. So it's done, it's going to be built, and then he's going to develop the Gramis Center, which is going to be some apartments and some retail at Brilliance Avenue and 42. That's where that's going to be located. So that's good. But the third point is my favorite and most personal point of view. When the people for graders came along, they came to Union for one reason, because I brought them here. And I'm serious. I mean, people that I knocked on their doors, and I would go to them, ma'am, do you know why Graders is coming. And they would go, "No, really?" And I said, "Yeah, Graders is coming." I said, "You know why they're coming?" They go, "No." I went, "Me." Hey, I don't brag about stuff, but I was campaigning, Gary. I mean, for goodness sakes, I had to campaign, And, but it's true. Rich Grader's my lodge brother, and I've known him for 12 years. And I've always said to him, "You got to come to Union." And when the promenade came along, I brought him in for that. He was going to go to the promenade, but he couldn't work out a deal with them. So he knows the people at Midland Retail who have the outlots at Kroger in Union, and worked out a deal with them. He bought 5.6 acres for $1.9 million. Then what he did was he went to Dewey's and he went to Braxton, who he's friends with them. Well, I know Braxton's too, or the Rouses. And he went to them, cut a deal with them, sold them half of the property to Dewey's, and Dewey's is renting their half of their building to Braxton. So what you're going to end up with is you're going to have Graders here, and then you're going to have Braxton and Dewey's across the, they're going to be a centerpiece there, so they can put tents up and all that stuff. And that's coming this fall. Some of you guys are friends of mine on Facebook. I just made a posting on it, took a picture of the building, and it's going to be here. It's happening next spring. Probably Braxton and Dewey's will show up. So they got approved from the Planning Commission. So when each of those went through the Planning Commission, I showed up to support them. And the last time when I was with Braxton and Dewey's, I said to the Planning Commission, they said, "Anybody for this thing?" "Mayor, okay, come up." All right. So I go to the podium and I look at them and I go, "You never see me here for any other issue except for ice cream, beer, and pizza." And when it comes to ice cream, beer, and pizza, I'm here. And so I was. And so it's been approved and it's going to happen. So that's my favorite. So there you go. Union Point Center is across from Ryle High School. It's those buildings that are being built now. And it's going to be the liquor store and a whole bunch of other stuff. And it's going to be right next to Strong's Pizza. So that's happening. The other thing that's happening is that Christ Hospital is building going to build across on Mount Zion Road on the same property, that area that was near where our city building is at. So they're going to have a facility there too. They haven't announced what they're going to do because they're looking at a certificate of need and how that all comes out to determine what they're going to do. So City of Union is going to have, and we're the only city that has this, 3 hospital facilities in the city. Okay, we'll have St. Elizabeth has always been there, and they're going to expand. They don't know where yet, but they are. Christ Hospital, and most importantly, as part of the Promenade Center, Children's Hospital. And Children's Hospital is going to start building the end of this month. And they're supposed to have a grand opening, Judge. So they're going to let us know, and when they do, I'll let you know. But that's going to happen soon. So we're the only city that has all 3 of them. And I've met with all 3 of them, and I explained to them, I want you to know that we want all 3 of you, and we will be fair with everybody. Show no favorites, we'll be fair. And so each of them has accepted that, and they're all good with that. So, and the last thing that we're working on is, the last thing, but there's always more, is our new town center. Since 1999, the city has been promising a town center for the city. They haven't delivered on it yet. So, but at the end of my last term, we committed to building the town center. We bought 27 acres of land from the Gramases. And we're going to build our town center across from where the city building is, next to Affinity Apartments. Okay, so we're working on that now. It's in we're working on the concept form. We just sent out a survey as to what people want. I assigned this to one of my commissioners, Commissioner Ramage, to do. He's going to do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on getting us a new city building. We need a new city building. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to also make sure that the new city building has a retirement center in it. Because when I sit there in the next 10 years and going, when I was mayor, we did this. I want a center where I can go and do that. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, it's fact. So anyway, so those are the things that we're working on. And so I just thought I'd open it up to questions, and I'm here to answer any questions you have. Yes, sir.
I've always admired the way you've led the city from afar. You tell your heart and soul to the job.
Oh, thank you.
And we've really done a great job. And I live in Raven here.
Oh, you do? Well, you know that the mayor of Rabbit Head is more handsome than the mayor of Union. That's a true story. Yes, sir.
What's going in the Union Point Center across from Ryle?
I should keep up with that more, but they told me this, it's gonna be a med spa is gonna be in there, a liquor store is gonna be in there. I talked to Matt Schaefer, who's the principal at Ryle, and I asked him what he doesn't want in there. I thought about putting in a vape shop in there, and we went to them and absolutely freaked it out. And because the school would go BS crazy on that one, because he didn't want that. But it changes, but I should have a list of them.
John, send over here.
And do that one. And this is the one issue that I am so glad that I'm not part of. So, yeah, but I would think that whatever they're doing over there, that I know that Frogtown Road needs widening. It really does, and it is dangerous. And it's just, we had the same problems, the same issues and discussions with Mount Zion Road, but we worked it out. We got through that, and they had like 237 properties that they had to buy from Mount Zion Road just to widen. And I'm sure that the judge and Boone County will handle it just as well as we handle Mount Zion Road.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it.
Sean, or Julie, since we got a couple minutes,
Go ahead.
if I can address it. Frogtown Road is a state highway, a state project, and there's no county money or county involvement in it. We've been encouraging state transportation to have some public meetings because there's a lot of misinformation flying around. But the project is slated to be 3 lanes with multi-use paths. It's going to impact some of the homes facing Frogtown. They need to have a public meeting and clarify exactly what's going on. They will probably do that over the coming months. It's not a project that's starting next summer. Last I heard was maybe construction in 2025, but they're in the right-of-way acquisition phase, and they need to get some information out there to the community. Nothing's scheduled yet.
We had a meeting with Kevin, and Kevin is going around and doing the long-term county plan tomorrow night at the fire station. The problem is that there was a lot of stuff on social media, people confusing that meeting with a meeting for Frogtown Road. So he's aware of it, and he's probably going to do something.
Thank you. But if you do talk to any of your neighbors or friends, the meeting tomorrow night is not about Frogtown. It is the long-range plan.
Yeah, thank you, Judge. Thanks again.
Yeah, so, which I attended the meeting and he went for the long-term planning. So if you have a chance, go attend one of those so you can give your input on long-term planning for the county. Jim, did you want to say anything about the raffle? I just missed that earlier.
First off, thanks to everybody who gave so far. We're doing to kind of piggyback on Sean's golf outing is we're giving away for $20 chances. We're giving away a refrigerator, as well as 2 bottles of bourbon. We'll be throwing this at the golf outing themselves. So if you'd like to participate, and there's someone else who would like to give, please see me. Thank you.
And then,
Dr. Booth is at Gateway Rehab, but he's supposed to go home today.
Oh,
I saw his
That's
daughter
good.
yesterday.
awesome. And then next week, we have Senate Majority Leader David Thayer. We are asking people to please RSVP for that, so that way we can give numbers to Dave, because we expect a larger crowd. And then the other thing is if you attend the meeting next week, we're gonna ask if you don't purchase the lunch, there's gonna be chairs set up around the outside that have you sit in the back when people are eating, sit at the table, so that way they can do that. But we are expecting a larger crowd next week, so. I think that's about it. If you're on the board, if you can stick around for the board meeting, I appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Oh, here's your.